Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm McKenna, and welcome to the 1-year anniversary of What's Happening MU.
What's happening, MU?
We talk about all the things in the MU social scene.
In this week's episode, we will be taking a trip down memory lane and watching our very first episode, which was also our very first campus Q&A.
But first,
let's get to know us.
We say that together. Ready? 3, 2. But first, let's get to know us.
I'm Emma. I'm a first-year communication student, and my most controversial opinion is that I think Zendaya and Tom Holland are a PR stunt.
My name is Emma. I'm a second-year communication student, and I still don't believe that Tom Holland and Zendaya are dating.
My name is McKenna. I'm a second-year comm student, and my favorite celebrity is Scott Disick.
My name is McKenna. I am a third-year communication student, and my favorite celebrity is still Scott Disick.
Now that we've gotten to know a little bit about us,
let's get to know you.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Happening, MU.
Oh, the logo. What's happening, Maryville?
Hello, I'm going to go ahead and have you introduce yourself. So say your name, you're in school.
And it goes through and introduces everybody.
CMS
Even my mom was like, that was a bad way to do this.
Yeah, that was
Lauren. I'm a freshman at Maryville University.
And what's your name?
I'm Mason Mortimer. I am a
Oh my
freshman,
God.
and
I'm a
second
year.
We have been literally recording for like 8 hours.
Yeah, we did record it all like in a day.
Perfect.
You're right.
I am.
Wish I had gone.
Give me the frog. 10 out of 10. Everything?
Probably that.
I remember how specific all the guys got with it. They were like so.
Tyler's is so funny.
One of those like sandwiches that you get at the little bar thing, it was like really soggy.
They all felt
really
so
gross.
passionate about their dining hall food.
That I've been having. It was good at the start, but the more I have it, I'm not liking it too much. So
it was probably
I
the
forgot
time
he
that I
was
ordered mac and
Australian.
cheese, and
was
it was
just
freezing
thinking
cold.
that, but I
It was
didn't
supposed to be
wanna
bacon
say
mac
it.
and
It
cheese. I
sounds
didn't get
stupid.
bacon in it, so I was disappointed about that, and it was freezing cold, and I already walked back to my room, so I didn't have a microwave to warm it up in.
Elephant, because
I
like how they think
We're cute, like we think puppies are cute, and they also start with E, and my name is Emily. So.
Stonefish.
Why?
They don't have to read books and they don't have to study for exams and stuff like
My
that.
favorite thing about that is I don't remember who I was watching it, but somebody goes, no animals have to study. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, you're right.
Mhm.
And I like had never
They don't
thought
have
about
to
it.
study
I
or
was
do
like,
homework.
I was like, his reasoning's so good. Like,
Yeah.
stonefish don't have to study.
Yeah.
And this was like, no animals have to study.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's fascinating.
or a tradition or like
Got
a
so,
building
like,
or
It
thing.
was so formal.
I think it'd be great if we had more events going on. I think it'd be great to have
Definitely brown because it looks like,
Like
something that comes out of you.
Later.
Great. Okay. Last question. Is it embarrassing to carry an umbrella on campus, yes or no?
Yes. It's
my
embarrassing.
favorite
It's
story.
a
It's
disgrace.
so good.
So let me tell you a story. So last semester, I carried an umbrella, right?
Oh,
And the little thing got caught in my hair because I have very like curly hair, so it hurt so much to take it out, and like I lost a few strands of hair. That was karma because I was carrying an umbrella. You shouldn't.
I keep thinking about this of like, how would you edit this now? Because it's so much different.
It's so boring. Like,
Yeah.
It's just the interviews. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing added.
Yeah.
No wonder I got it added tonight. God, our lives were probably so peaceful.
No, because I just remember how like tired we all were.
Yeah.
Like we were just so exhausted, like from
so
asking,
tired.
like dealing with people
And
the whole
you and I-
day.
we were like waiting for like one other person to ring. I was like, interview me, and I was like,
Okay, like, fine.
I don't want to, like, because for some reason we decided we need more guys.
No, not at all.
I feel like we're
Nobody
just
likes
overdoing
getting
it.
rained on.
Oh, okay.
And that's what's happening, MU.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. Have a great night. Great. Well, thank you, John, for your time.
Thank you.
We don't thank people.
Those were amazing
No, we
answers.
just
Thank you
walk
so
away.
much.
We're like, okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you.
We're gonna do an actual podcast now, guys. It's still a visual podcast, but we're doing.
This is an actual video podcast.
So let's talk about it. We always get asked, how did What's Happening MU start?
It all
Obviously.
began one day,
On a
first
dark and
semester.
stormy night.
First semester last year, I turned to this girl in class with me, and I looked at her. I said, "I really like your shirt. Where did you get it?" And she said, "Oh, thank you. I thrifted it."
No, this is a lie. McKenna's a liar. I don't know.
I swear to God.
No,
She said, "I swear."
don't listen to her. I do not trust this because one, I have never gone thrifting for myself in my entire life. So I would not sit in a class and lie
Why
to
are
the
you
girl
so
next
against
to me.
thrifting? I've never gone thrifting.
I'm not against thrifting. I'm just saying that I'm gonna punch you in the throat and you're gonna have to live with the fact that I hate you. This is what all of you miss. This is why we can't do podcasts. Anyways, I am not against thrifting. I just am trying to make it clear that I have never gone thrifting in my life. And so for her to continuously try to gaslight me and tell me that I told her I thrifted a shirt that I know I got from the Loft Outlet Mall is just absurd, okay? Anyways, so she just lies
I'm not
about
a
this
liar.
story. And it just grinds my gears. Here's the top. I don't know. But she swears this happened. I don't remember it happening. Obviously it didn't because I
totally
wouldn't have
did.
told her that. And now she claims that's how What's Happening in You started. How it actually started. So second semester, come to find out, McKenna and I have 2 classes together in the morning. So we have an 8 a.m., another Dr. York class, and we end up sitting next to each other and we find out that we have an online class together afterwards. And we go and we're like, let's go. Did we go to Gander?
We did. We sat in Gander.
We went to Gander and we were like, oh, we'll do it together. And McKenna said, this class sucks, I'm dropping it.
Because I didn't want to do it as a virtual class. And looking back,
It bit her in the ass.
yeah, because it's now gotten canceled 4 times?
I
4
think
times.
So yeah,
So,
that's on her. But she dropped it and she was like, I need to find something else to take. And I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm taking this cool class called paw print.
yeah, because I was like, I
You
need
get to,
another
like-
comm class. And
yeah.
you said, oh, I'm taking paw print. It sounds cool.
And she was like, okay.
Anyways, I went to a meeting with my life coach, and he sat down, and I was like, help me find classes, because all my class, I had like 3 classes get canceled that semester. And then he was like, you could take this class called paw print, and I said, I should take paw print. And so then I headed over.
So then we went to paw print and our amazing queen of a teacher,
Erin
Erin
P.
P.
Boswell.
She was like, you guys, if you're taking this for 3 credits, you have to do 5 projects and you can do a podcast. She was like, and you can do it with a partner. And I was like, I'm going to make this girl do it with me.
So we were walking out to go to Ganser, and I was like, one of us was like, oh, what do you think you're going to do it on? And we had very similar ideas. And so we were like, let's just do it
McKenna
together.
had the idea for it to be called What's Happening in Maryville.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, that's ugly. And we somehow, along the way, changed it to What's Happening MU. Anyways, so that is technically how What's Happening MU came to be.
Okay, so What's Happening MU really started? Yes, we met the first semester last year, and yes, it started because we had the class. But there's no way that it would have become what it did if we had not sat in Ganser the day we decided that we were going to do What's Happening MU. So the day of paw print. And we go in there and we start talking about what we're going to do and making the concept map. And we end up telling our whole life stories. And we sit in Gander for like 5 hours, probably. Emma missed a meeting. Like, you skipped a meeting. And then the only reason we stopped sitting in Gander and talking was because your parents came to drop off something for you.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about episode 2? Okay, episode 2 is my personal least favorite episode.
Yeah, me too.
I
It has,
hate it.
and like, I think there's just a lot of reasons why. It's not because the episode itself is bad, but first of all, we got in there, and this is the first one that we recorded in the podcast room, and it was so hot in there. The furnace was broken, and it was 100 degrees, and so we had to open the window. Also, so we had people submit the stories, and it was a link that was on our Instagram story. And my roommate was joking with us, and she kept submitting fake stories. And they were, like, really juicy stories. Like, they were really good. And we were, like, convinced they were real.
Hey, some of them made it
Yeah. We found out that it was fake. Because
after we had spent 2 hours in there waiting for more submissions to come in.
We, like, did it so many times because they just kept rolling in. And we're like, wow, we can't record it now. We have to wait. And then finally, she was like, I was doing all of them.
I was so mad. I didn't talk the entire walk back to Saints. Like, I actually went to the bathroom in the hopes that they would leave me. Also, it was icing outside. It was sleeting outside.
Yeah.
So I was like, we had to ice skate back to Saints, and I was pissed off. And I, like, didn't talk to McKenna for, like, the rest of the day because I was like, McKenna's stupid roommate best friend just ruined my day. And I was mad at McKenna.
And I didn't talk to her for an entire day.
And I didn't know that. And so
I was so
mad at McKenna, and I didn't have any reason to be mad at her.
Yeah.
It was, like,
it's just
so
I
annoying.
look back, and then I couldn't edit the video because it made me so mad to know that, like, 90% of the footage, I was like, I just want to delete the entire video.
So yeah, some of them did make it in. So if you want to rewatch it and try and
guess which ones are fake stories,
you can. I've only seen it the one time McKenna posted it, and I refuse to watch it again.
I have, and it just like
episode 4, the traveling hot seat. This one's just kind of like, I forget about it.
I can't believe it's only 7 minutes long.
It's really short. It used to have a lot of people in it that I found very entertaining. And so I liked the episode because we got a lot of, like, fun characters. But now I regret that.
Yeah.
They're in it at all. So that's a problem in and of itself.
Yeah, I forget about that.
It's tainted the episode for me.
Yeah.
I like that episode. I think it's funny. It's just not my favorite.
That's when the first episode you started, like, editing it. A little better.
It is very much us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the debacle that was trying to get the sports teams.
Yeah.
So
this was difficult.
We planned it out so far in advance because we knew that it would be hard.
And we did it based on if we knew people that we could ask to do it.
But the problem was I didn't actually know people. I knew of people that I was like, I didn't really care. So McKenna had, like, actual connections to her teams. And I was like, I've met a guy on that team once. And I was willing to try. But anyways, so our initial thoughts were men's volleyball, women's lacrosse, baseball, and cheer and dance. And so
I was going to take cheer and dance, obviously. And then I was going to take women's lacrosse because my suite mate was on the lacrosse team.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we would totally do that.
Yeah. And so she had it, like, down. And for some reason, I was supposed to find a men's volleyball player that I didn't know. This is where it all comes into play. So anyways, we decided to scrap it and go with lacrosse because the people on the baseball team that I knew, I didn't want to talk to. And there was a guy in one of our classes that was in a video already and was, like, following us.
And so we're like, oh, that'll be easy.
So we're like, it'll be really easy. So what happened was we DM both of them, okay? We DM'd this lacrosse player. Ow! And we DM'd okay, they don't go here anymore. Their names were Mason and Tate. They were super nice. They were on the men's volleyball team, and they had an account called MU Baddies. So we DM'd the lacrosse player, and we DM'd MU Baddies. And both of them leave us on red. And we were like...
so mad because we had gotten the women's team locked down, and we even had backups. At this point, we also thought about women's hockey.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we know we can get them too.
So we had all these backups and, like, no backups for the men's teams. And they both leave us on red. And we were like, what?
And it was so frantic because we had to record because we had
like
a date. Like, we had a due date. And so we had to record it and set up a time and everything. And so we had to, like, figure it out in the next 2 days or a day or something.
Mason, the MU Baddies DM'd us back sooner than the other person, which
and they were just like...
They were like, sorry, we're really busy with school.
And then we found out that it was because all 3 of them were transferring.
So that one we don't hold any grudges over.
Because,
any of
like,
them,
I wouldn't know
that
what to
one,
do in that situation either.
I wouldn't say yes to being interviewed if I knew I was transferring. Because, like, literally, like, 2 days later, they changed their username to Portal
Baddies. Like, they were entering the transfer portal.
So that one's fine. That one's whatever. The other one, he literally leaves us on red for a week. An entire week.
Yeah.
And we say, you know what? Like, we're just going to do a women in sports episode. It's fine. We, like, settle on that. We've come to terms with it. Literally, I think maybe an hour later.
It was the same day that we decided on it and got everything, like, figured out.
He DMs us back and says, OMG, so sorry. I totally forgot to reply to this.
Do you still need people? Yeah.
Do it if you want. And we said, no. And he was so nice. He said, what did he say?
He was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I totally forgot to reply to this.
Okay, sounds good. If you need lacrosse guys for anything in the future, let me know. I would like to preface, we have asked them multiple times to be in future episodes.
And they still leave us on red. Because we asked them again. We wanted to do them instead of men's volleyball. Because we did not know men's volleyball team.
You're right.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the episode that united us.
I think so, too.
So thank you guys for that.
Wait, no, we also, with that one, we also recorded an entire cheer episode. But in this episode, we talk and we sit there and we're like, we talk about nationals because it was right before we left. And we're like, oh, how do we think we're going to do? Like, are we excited? How are we feeling? And we're like, oh, we're feeling so good. Like, I think we could get top 10. Like, honestly, like, I think we're pretty solid. We're set. Like, we're good to go. And then we got dead last. And so we we scrapped that whole thing. Okay, so the next episode is what's happening with men's volleyball.
That could be a whole case study by itself.
And in itself. So this is the one we were going to try to get lacrosse to do instead.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
We turned
to men's volleyball,
which I'm sorry, men's volleyball. I turned you into my own form of personal entertainment, and I'm really sorry about that. And we were convinced the episode wasn't actually going to happen.
I mean, like, we had been talking to Victor, or you had been talking to Victor about it for like 2 weeks about doing this episode. Probably.
Yeah.
And we were walking to the classroom to record the day of, and we were like, nobody's going to come.
Oh, yeah.
We also were afraid that they weren't going to want to do it, and we had to make it, like, really clear to them that this wasn't, like a post-game interview kind of thing.
Yeah, we were scared that they would, think it was,
Because we were just straight up going to ask them questions about their personal lives.
Which we did.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about the actual video, because we put, I think, the most time into this video than we ever have.
Than any of the other ones, yeah. Because it was completely different, because we couldn't record it in the podcast room. We had to find a whole other place to record, because we were under the impression it was going to be the whole team, first of all. That was a lie, because it was, like, half the team, which was, like, fine. I mean, that ended up, I think, working out really well, yeah. And we had to figure out a way to record it, because we did not have these mics yet. We had the wired mics still. And
I forgot we did this.
We had realized literally like 2 days before that we needed the mics, and we couldn't find one. Went to Five Below.
We did.
Because we like searched up we searched on Target, on Walmart, Best Buy, and then we like find these things on Five Below, and it's like a microphone And then the microphone ended up just being a speaker. Like, it was like you talking to it and it projects your voice.
Yeah.
And then I used it for a Halloween costume.
There was like another thing.
Oh, and then
But
it was like a
wasn't an actual
Bluetooth transmitter.
Yeah. So it wasn't that. So then we see in Maryville Esports that they used a mic just like this in a recent video. So we DM them and we get no reply. So we emailed the podcast guys.
Oh, yeah, because also with somehow in this entire thing, we became like Maryville ambassadors. So we had gotten asked if we wanted to try out the new podcast room in the library. And we do have that, I still have that footage. And so just maybe one day you might just get like a surprise little video, a little gift.
And I don't like that video.
I don't either. But
anyway, so we
asked the podcast guys.
And they were like, we can find you a mic. And the mic that they find us is the esports mic.
And so then we walk down to the esports garage, we get the mic, and we are like running out of time. We had like an hour before the video.
And, oh my god, it was Yom Kippur. So I was fasting.
Oh, yeah.
I've been fasting for 24 hours, and my fast broke like 15 minutes
before
the interview. And I refused to like break it, which I could have, but I didn't want to. And so literally 15 minutes before, I'm shoving fries and a burger into my face in Louis'. And then we go there, and I had fries left over. The guys ended up eating it halfway through, which was weird. But anyways, so we walk in there, and we set it all up, and we're like, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. They
peek their little head in the door.
They were like,
no,
hey. And we were like, hey. Okay, so McKenna and I thought that it'd be really funny, which it was. It was very funny to stalk them beforehand and find the most obscure things about them to ask them about.
And we told them we were doing this. We said, make sure that you accept our follow requests because we're going to stalk you to the ends of the earth.
And they all did, so thanks, guys. Yeah. McKenna goes out in the hallway to interview them.
And I film the intros, and I have to hold my phone up to hear, to get it, like, chest up because they're all so tall.
Oh, and the mic didn't work. At some point, somebody turned the mic off.
I think it was Cole.
And so it never worked. The entire interview, it didn't actually work, which was amazing.
Started
and
the
then
video.
We just started the video. And it started off fun. It started off funny. We were having a good time.
And then at some point, like, it was like a little switch got flipped.
Yeah.
And we both suddenly started getting so mad.
It might have been entirely, like, inside of me, but, like, I just wanted it to be over. But they kept being like, ask us more questions. And me and McKenna had run out of questions, so now we're, like, flipping back through old What's Happening MU questions.
Yeah, we're like really, and they were just like really, because like, and it was like half of them were really into it and they were loving it. And then it was like 2 or 3 people that seemed like they didn't want to do it, but then it come to find out that they were fine with the whole thing. Yeah. They really enjoyed it.
Like, we were just like reading the situation wrong. And like, me and McKenna are like, okay, this
oh my god, we're like, I cannot do this anymore. And you just go, all right, and that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching.
And we just like cut them off. And then I'm like, okay, you guys have to say, and that's what's happening in MU. So they say that, and then it's like over.
Get out. And so we made them all leave. And we sat in there and walked back to Emma's apartment and talked about how much we hated it.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I was like, I turned to McKenna and I was like, I hate it.
Like, I'm just not even going to post it. She's like, I didn't even think I can make myself edit it.
I was like,
I hate it
so much. I thought that we looked terrible.
I thought we looked like bad people.
We looked like bad. I don't know why I thought that. And then I watched it back and I was like, we don't look bad.
And so we're like, we don't even want to post it. And I remember we walk in and your roommates are like, oh, how was the video? Was it so fun? And we go, no.
We're like, it's awful.
I hated it.
It's so
and then
bad.
we complained about it for like an hour.
Which is so funny in hindsight now because I am obsessed with the men's volleyball team. I think they're so great. But like, at the time, I genuinely hated them. So then, next day comes, and I go to Gander with one of my friends, and she's like, oh my god, how was the video? I literally have a panic attack and start crying in the middle of Gander because I hate the video so much. And I think that we look so bad.
No, yeah, nobody, I don't think anybody knows how much we hated it. And because also, like, at some point, it was like the video had, like, gotten away from us. And
That's
they
what
were
it felt like.
yeah, because this was like the first episode where we weren't really in control of it, and I think that's why we hated it so much, because like their personalities go together so well because they're all friends and they're all on the same team. And so they just started talking and like taking control of the video, and we were like, how do we get this to start? Like how do we do this? And I think it just made us mad.
And then like they were also just kind of taking over, which it ended up working so well. They did such a good job with
it worked perfectly. I think we just
but
didn't know what to
I
expect.
think, yeah, it just wasn't what we expected, and
Yeah.
it threw us off. And I also was just genuinely like worried that we were gonna look bad and look like we were all about drama. And so I was like so sad about it. Literally cried. Literally sobbed. Hannah, the friend that I was with, was like, just delete it. Like, just don't post the video. Like, if you are this worked up about it,
just don't even do it.
Just delete the video and pretend it never happened. And I literally am like sobbing and I'm like, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I have to edit it. And she's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yes, I do. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, this video is awful. She's like, Emma, just delete the video. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. So I start editing it that night and I'm like, oh, this is really good. And like, it's so funny now because if I posted just the raw footage of this whole thing, people would still find it just as funny as it is now. And it's just like so bizarre to me because like we all were like so worried about it, and
we're so worked up.
It's perfectly fine. Yeah. Like nobody looks like a bad person. Everybody is so funny. Like there's no reason that we were like so worried. And
looking back, that's like one of my favorite episodes because it just worked so well.
Yeah.
Like it was like the perfect team to do it with.
Yeah. Okay, so then we
decided to do the dating show.
Matchmakers.
And the dating show was something that we decided we wanted to do at the beginning of the semester. And we had everybody fill out the Google form, and we just couldn't really find anybody that we were like, that's exactly who we wanted to do it. And then...
Do we tell the like true story?
Of the dating show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the true story of the dating show is that somebody texted me and said, hey, are you still doing the dating show? And I said, yeah, but probably not until next semester. We don't have anybody that we like really want to do it yet. Why? And they're like, I need you to set my friend up with somebody. Do I say who that person is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, who is it? I'll do it. I'll do it. Anything for the pod. And they're like, my friend and Victor on the volleyball team. And I was like, one, why does everything come back to Vicky? Like,
yeah.
Like, if I felt bad, honestly. I was like, I've used him already for the men's volleyball episode. I was like, I can't really.
We've already interviewed them 2 more times this semester because they were in that episode too. Him and Cam Chan were in that episode. Yeah. And so then it was just like, we don't want to bother them again.
But I was like, they're asking me, I'll do it.
Like, we'll try.
Like, I was like, there's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
So I text him, and poor guy, like, that whole team.
He doesn't know about this.
I'm pretty sure that whole team, if they, like, if I text them, they probably are like, oh, God. So we're like, basically, you'll be a contestant. There'll be 5 girls. You won't know who they are.
And you pick your favorite, and you go on a date.
And he's like, basically agrees immediately. Like, immediately. He's like, yeah, I'm down. And I was like,
perfect. Sick. Amazing.
Immediately after we get on the search for girls. So we already know we have this one girl down. And then
we get all of the other girls lined up.
All of the other girls lined up. Every single one of them. And they're not every single one of them ended up in the video.
No, only
Emily was supposed to be in Victor's episode.
Yeah. Emily
the
was
rest
the only
of
one.
them were other people.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's probably also in a notes app somewhere.
We're sitting in Gander, and Victor walks over to us, and he's like, we can't do the video anymore. And he says we need to postpone the video or something. And we were like, okay, fine. So we were like, who's going to replace you?
Yeah, like you have to find somebody to replace you.
Sitting at a table with Cam Cham and Josh.
And Cam Cham comes over.
No, we look at them and they give us a thumbs up first.
And we ask Cam Cham and he says, no, I can't do it. And so then
we look at Josh.
And he goes.
And I go, does he know what he's thumbsing up? And he goes, no, not at all.
And they're like, he would totally do it. This would be perfect for him.
So then, for some reason, I just went over there.
And then I ended up coming over like a couple minutes later.
So I start talking to them and I'm like, Josh, you're doing it. And he's like, sure. And so.
He wasn't, there's no way he was like, okay.
No, like I'm pretty positive I walked over there and I explained the concept to him and he's like, okay, I guess. We're gonna let it be Josh because it's easier, but I was convinced Josh was a bad person.
I was like, I'm gonna hate this man.
To clarify, Josh is not.
He's
amazing.
great.
Josh
He's
is
great,
like
yeah.
actually so great. We like literally love him so much. But at the time we were like, oh, like I just like had these preconceived notions of him where he was like a bad person. We go home for Thanksgiving, completely forget about it. Come back, and I'm sitting in Gander, and McKenna didn't come back after Thanksgiving because her niece was born.
Yeah.
And so she's on her way back, and
Driving.
I'm sitting in Gander, and I hear, Emma. And I'm like, who the fuck just called my name? I look over, Josh is staring at me. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, are we still doing the dating show? And I was like, oh my God. Are we? And he was like, I want to. And I was like, okay, let me call McKenna.
I have 2 weeks to get this video done. Because after Thanksgiving break, there is literally 2 weeks of school left, and one of those weeks is finals week.
Yeah.
And halfway through finals week, everybody leaves. So we have a week and a half to get this done. And all we have left now is Emily. Emily was the only one left over of all of the candidates. Because we couldn't use the one. We couldn't use the one girl because Victor said he still wanted to do it. He still wanted to do the episode.
Yeah, we haven't talked to him since then, but.
And so we had to get rid of the one girl that the entire video was made for. We got rid of Colleen because Colleen didn't want to do it anymore. And then we just had Emily left.
Yeah, so we only had Emily left.
And so we had to find
the other
4
two
people.
girls were just like random girls, so like they didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So like all we had left was Emily, and so we had to like scramble and find all these new girls. And then we like get to the video. Day we filmed the video was
it was the day we filmed the video.
Oh.
And it was an hour before we filmed the video. Because we had been, like, making sure everything was okay the entire day. We checked with everybody. Everyone confirms the day before. Like, we're good to go. It is an hour before the video.
30 minutes.
30 minutes before the video. And a contestant drops out.
And she's like, hey, I can't make it anymore.
And at this point, we had exhausted all of our options for a contestant. We had nobody left.
We had zero
No
ideas.
people. We had asked everyone we possibly could, and they either... like, they couldn't do it with their schedule, or they had a bunch of finals, or they were already off of campus, or, like, they just didn't want to.
So, I call well, first I text Victor, because Victor was, like, begging to come and watch. And so, we originally weren't going to let him, and then we let him, and we were like, okay, you can come. So, Victor is, like, on his way. And obviously, we can't ask Josh if there's anybody, because Josh isn't supposed to know who they are.
Yeah.
So I text Victor, and I'm like, Victor, I need your help. Like, I have no idea. Do you have any ideas of somebody we could get? And he, like, shows up, and he's like, I don't know. But him and Awetse end up going and going to the library to try and find people. So then Awetse and Victor show back up with Megan. And they're like, she said she'll do it. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So then she, like, shows up, and she has no idea what anything
She doesn't
is.
even, does she even know what the episode was? Yeah, I don't know.
She didn't know it was Josh. I think she knows a dating show. I don't know what they told her, but she didn't know it was Josh. She didn't know, like, anything. And I felt so bad. Because we just, like, threw her to the wolves.
And we're like, we have to get going right now.
We did the video. Filming it was fun.
Yeah, filming it was really fun. It was really entertaining. It kind of took a little longer than we thought it was going to, but it was good. And then we surprise all of them and we surprise the winners, and we're like, hey, you have to go on a date. And Josh had specifically told us
that we weren't allowed
he
to do
said,
that.
I am not going on a date. And I said, okay, that's fine. And we say, okay, now you guys have to go on a date. And he was like, are you kidding me? Because now he can't be like, no, I don't want to go on a date with this person, because that would just sound like mean.
So we spring it on them, and we're like, well, we originally, so like they had put the Christmas lights up around campus, so we were originally just going to have them walk around and like look at the Christmas lights, but it was raining, so we're like, okay, the only other alternative is you go to Louis to get fries. And we were gonna leave, but we had to stay to bring them their fries.
Yes.
We just stayed. McKenna and I are sitting there singing, because God, she's so pretty and funny and witty, like nonstop for like the entire like 30-minute date. We're just sitting there singing Charlie D'Amelio because it had just come out.
And they did their little date, and then we're like, okay, bye.
I edited the first part so fast, and then I was like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
So then I re-edited the first part, and then I posted it. And then we were too far into break, and I did not want to edit it anymore. And I literally didn't edit it for a month. And then we got back, it was like 2 days before going back to school. And I was like, okay, well. And so I like literally, like, I just didn't edit it for forever. And then finally I did, and it ended up being good. But like in my mind, like I did not want to edit it. I thought it was so boring. I remember everything. Like, I remember everything. Every single conversation that I have, I can relay back to you pretty much verbatim everything that was said.
Yeah, on the other hand, I forget everything the moment it is said to me. Just in one ear, out the other.
It pisses me off so much. Because, like I can't tell stories wrong. And McKenna only tells stories wrong. Halloween weekend. I was just frustrated with McKenna in general because we had spent every waking moment together for like 2 weeks straight. And I can't do that. I cannot spend like every day with people. And so she was just like starting to get on my nerves. And it was nothing that she did. And the problem was that it was nothing that she did. So I couldn't be like, McKenna, leave me alone. Because I had no reason to be upset. It was just like my own thing. And I was just like stressed out with school. Like I was just going through it this week. And McKenna was always there. And I never had a second alone. And I was like so stressed out. And
she yelled at me.
There was... Oh my god, I forgot. I did.
I come to the CSE to ask you a question. I go to the CSE to like tell her a story about something that happens in my class because I go to tell her about what happens in my class and I'm like popping in and she's like, "Are we ever gonna film an episode?"
Okay, we hadn't filmed an episode in a really long time.
Since men's volleyball, and it had been an entire month. It'd been an entire month, and she goes, "If we don't film it now, it's just over. What's happening is done."
Okay, I was like really going through it, guys. Like I was in like such a bad state. Like I was not okay.
And I literally was like, okay. And then I didn't even tell her the story. I didn't even tell her the story.
So bad, okay? And you would think that would snap me out of it, but it didn't. And so then we're like hanging out Halloween weekend, and she's just like, Six Flags night was fine. Like I had fun Six Flags night, like it was fine. But then we went to a party like the next night, or no, it was 2 nights later. It was that Sunday because we didn't have class on Monday.
Yeah.
So Sunday, we're like going to a party, and she starts telling a story, and she told it completely wrong. Like not a single part of it was right.
What was the story?
I think it was the baseball party. I think you were telling, like, Allie or something about, like, all the weird conversations.
Yeah.
Because we went to this one party, and we had weird conversation after weird conversation, and me and McKenna were completely sober. Like, we had been at Six Flags, like, there was, like, and so, like, there was, like, just, like, so much happening that night, and, like, it was just weird conversation after weird conversation after weird interaction.
And then it was also Halloween weekend and we weren't going to go. Like we were literally going to go to Six Flags and go home. And we literally were on our way to get dinner and go home. And we get a text and it's like, "Oh, come." And so we're in leggings and sweatshirts.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Come."
We're both wearing Maribel sweatshirts.
We're also the only ones in the entire house that are not in a costume.
So it was just like a weird night. So we're telling, I think it was Allie, all of it. Sunday night. And McKenna cannot get any of it right. She's telling it out of order. She's misquoting people. She's doing all this stuff. And it is driving me crazy. And it's like 2 a.m. at this point. Because we'd gone to one party. We were going to go to another. Decided we didn't want to go to that party. Went back to that party. Decided we didn't want to go. And we were on our way back home. So this was like 30 minutes of driving already. Because we got so close to campus that we went back. And like just all this back and forth. So I'm like tired. It's raining. And McKenna cannot get this story right. And I thought I was going to kill her. Like I genuinely have never been so mad at her. And I had no reason to be that mad at her. But I was so mad. And like, I don't even know. So like, anyways, all of that to say, like,
it's totally fair. I mean, like, I have a lot of toxic traits, but my number one toxic trait is that I cannot remember a single thing that anybody says to me. And it's not that I don't listen. Because I do. I do listen. I at least half listen. But I don't remember it. Like, I could full on, like, stare at you and take in every single word you say, and 30 minutes later, I will not remember our conversation. And that is my number one toxic trait. And so it's really fair to be annoyed by that.
I think it was like McKenna gets in these moods where like McKenna is talking and nobody else can talk, it's just McKenna talking. Which like some days I can handle it, but that day I could not. And so I keep trying to interject to fix the story and she's just talking over me. And I'm like, let me tell this goddamn story because you can't. And I think that's so funny because it's the stupidest thing ever, but I've never been that mad at McKenna in my life. Like, we don't really fight or argue.
No.
Like, there's nothing for us to fight about.
No.
And so that was, like, I was really mad at her for that. It was so stupid.
And then I remember it was literally the next day, and we were on the phone, and you said, I just have to say this right now. I can't stop thinking about it. I am so sorry for yelling at you.
No, because I, like, went to bed, like, that night or something, and I was like, I felt so bad. And I was like, I am so sorry.
And I was like, oh, it's okay. I don't care.
I was like, I've been so mean to you.
I was like, I didn't even notice. I didn't even remember.
Wait, do you know what the best part of the story is? Like, genuinely?
What?
He was dressed as a plumber. And then he just goes, whoosh! Whoosh! President fucking Obama endorsed this nonprofit.
To get to know everybody. Yes, and just like that.
It's so weird. And, like, I don't forget things like this, so the fact that I have no idea who he was is so weird to me.
And so there's, like, an entire floor, and there's four like, apartments, and all of them are a party.
Bro, the place we practice at, there's like Olympia Gym in North Manchester. So people's cars, like girls on our team, their cars got broken into. Like their windows were smashed in, and I was parked right next to them.
Well, like, that's fine. He was like, yeah, you're like, I just went to jail. No! And he was like, oh my god, will you just keep that for now? He's like, I've got to run to tell you I got back. Just keep that for now. I've got to run, but find me later. And I was like, okay.
He was like, do you have one? And I was like, no. I was like, I wouldn't just be taking yours if I had one of my own.
Baseball, I would count as one. Yes. Sunday, Saturday doesn't count as one. 3 people would be okay. So I'm walking downstairs, and this girl, like, right over there, and she goes, don't go down there. There's men peeing.
I was like, promise me. Like,
Okay, bye. And I tell him to leave. It was like a full costume, like pants and everything. I'm really glad he was like, I have other places. Yeah, I have other places because I think I would have asked him to hang out and sign our flag, probably. Okay, I think this might need to end.
that's all for this year. We're done.
That's all for our first year of What's Happening MU.
That's so crazy.
It's so crazy. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs. We've really done it all, but like not enough. No barstool deal.
No barstool deal yet. Sorry, Dustin.
We've met lots of really cool people, made lots
Yeah.
of friends.
Went to lots of. Well, we became friends. It's like our 1 year friendversary.
Oh my god, that's crazy town. And that's what's happening at MU. No, because we just talked about all things in the MU social scene. Oh my god, we really did what we said we were supposed to. Wow. Everything has come full circle. Comes full circle. And all works out in the end.
Love.
Okay, bye.